So here we are now. We've got to Hamilton Grange, which is
We're in the rear of the building, right on top of the City College campus. Yeah.
All right. So where are we?
Where are we? Where are we? I don't know. We're at 140th off of St. Nicholas Terrace, right next to the Andy Grove School of Engineering.
That's right.
If
right
you don't know who Andy Grove is, he was, I don't know, maybe he still is, the CEO of Intel.
Yeah, I think it's former CEO, but one of the founders of Intel, which there's a whole history behind going from the East Coast to the West Coast to create this amazing technology company known as Intel.
Yeah, so this is really one of those things where we're really had that Silicon Valley in New York component to it.
That's right.
Right next to the Andy Grove School of Engineering is the Alexander Hamilton, his original home. It's called the Grange, and that's one of the things that really makes this neighborhood great. It's like you've got this new world next to the old world.
And kind of as the fire trucks go by, what's really interesting, of course, we tend to, I think at this point, take it a bit for granted that people know who Alexander Hamilton is.
Alexander Hamilton is one of our founding fathers, and created everything from like the Republican Party to our banking system. So he's a major player in early American history, and generally considered one of the founding fathers of the country.
Right, and very ironically, and I don't want to spoil the show, but in Hamilton, they made the ultimate compromise of moving the capital of the United States from New York to DC, which is kind of far away.
It went from, I guess, like that triangle from Philadelphia, New York, DC. Yeah, and that was a big compromise. But yeah, at one point the federal building was like the key of our government, all the way in Lower Manhattan, down on Wall Street, ironically.
Okay, so here we are. We're still on the campus of City College, looking down at above Hamilton Grange. Now, we're not too far away from Convent Avenue.
Yeah, we're about a half block away from Convent Avenue.
We're not too far away from Hamilton Terrace.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Hamilton Terrace is actually directly in front of us, just on the other side of Alexander Hamilton's house and the Grove School of Engineering.
Okay. And you were telling me also about neighborhood sort of
boundaries.
Boundaries. Okay.
Yeah.
So are we in West Harlem right now?
We are in West Harlem, and one of the things that I think is important to know when you're actually looking uptown is that these neighborhoods are tended to be distinguished geographically. And what I mean by that is when you hear the names Morningside Heights, Hamilton Heights, Washington Heights, they are distinguished by an elevation difference.
Yep.
In their addresses. So when a lot of times a lot of brokers or even neighborhood residents don't realize they might be calling their neighborhood by like West Harlem, for example, when in fact they're actually in Central Harlem. The reason for that confusion, that mix-up, is because if you go downtown, east and west of Fifth Avenue determines whether you're on the east side or the west side.
Right.
But up here, it's really distinguished. West Harlem is basically that difference in elevation. Now, what makes it also interesting and easy to identify, not just the elevation, but throughout going from south to north, it's almost entirely defined, that elevation difference, in our parks. So if you start looking as far south as Morningside Park, all of a sudden there's a giant elevation difference within the park itself, and the topographical features, you see the original rock formations that were, go back, tens of thousands,
right,
even millions of years, and that helps distinguish that height differential, and that's why, like, West Harlem is considered the neighborhoods of Morningside Heights, Manhattanville, and Hamilton Heights.
Okay, and it starts off at St. Nicholas Avenue?
For the most part. It's not always as clean as that distinction,
right,
but for the most part, yeah.
Okay.
That's a reasonable description for
okay,
much of it.
And also when we talk about Sugar Hill, mm-hmm, Sugar Hill is probably That's in West Harlem.
It is in West Harlem. It's a micro neighborhood of Hamilton Heights. And, you know, the northern portion of Sugar Hill border is in dispute. But let's just say for the majority of the boundaries, it goes from actually from just a little east of Amsterdam Avenue over to, and this is also dependent on where you are in the neighborhood, Edgecombe and St. Nicholas, depending where you are in the neighborhood. The southern portion is 135th, and the northern portion is in dispute, but I consider it 155th, but it could even go into the low 160s as well,
Okay,
depending on...
So basically from St. Nicholas up the hill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay,
That's the easiest way to describe it, even though it's not entirely the most accurate.
Gotcha. And then, of course, what's next to West Harlem, to the east of St. Nicholas, would be Central Harlem first.
Correct.
Right.
Central Harlem, and I think if you're south of 125th in Central Harlem, people tend to label that as South Harlem.
Gotcha. Got it. Wonderful. So let's go take a look and find a home to stand in front of, and you can tell us more about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
Sounds
thanks.
good.
Great.